Okay, so this person says, I am a VC attorney and I'm trying to expand into capital markets. How do I do that? So, if you're trying to make a switch like that, the smartest thing you can do is you could work at a firm that has a VC and capital markets work, and then you could start asking people in capital markets for work if they would give it to you, which they might, or if the firm would allow. That's one way to do it. But this is difficult with the largest firms because the largest firms have specialists. That would be very difficult. So if you wanted to do that, this is an interesting thing. This is for anyone on the call that is wondering, how do I get into another practice area and how do I position myself for success in another practice area? So the idea is you have large markets, large firms, and then you have, I don't know, mid market. And this is a lot to this mid market and then small market, small. Okay. And this is important for everyone here to understand. So in large markets and large firms, they're typically specialists, and moving between practice areas is difficult. So meaning what this person is saying is tough. So what this person here is saying about a large market is they're an ECVC attorney. That's it. So that's it. Only this, not capital markets. So that's the problem the person is having. So how do you get around that? The only way to get around that is to either try to work in a firm where they're going to allow you to do some of that work, or to go to a different market. Now, you may say, why wouldn't a law firm possibly allow me to work in this area if that's what I want to do? And why would my existing firm not do that? Now, sometimes your existing firm will allow you to do that, which is really the smartest way to do this. But most of the time, your firm's not going to allow you to do that. They're not going to want you to do that because if you do that, there's no sense to it. Why would we hire someone for a position or train them to do a certain type of work only to have them do other work? Are we going to have to knock them back in class here? It's not unfair to our clients that we're putting someone without this type of training on their jobs and charging them as a fourth year when they really have the experience of a first year. Does it benefit? Could you find the job? Oh, people always ask this. They think, oh, yes, let me apply to law firms and say I want to switch practice areas for this opening. Wow, I see this capital markets opening. Hey, I'm a VC attorney. I'd love to switch to that practice area. Why would a firm hire you to be switch practice areas when they've got 100 applications for people that are already doing that practice area that don't want to switch practice areas? Just think about it logically. No one's going to do that. Would you? Would you hire someone to do something like that? Would you hire if someone wanted to work in your house as a nanny, would you hire someone that had experience as a nanny? Or would you hire someone then a house painter and now decides they want to work with kids? Come on, just put yourself in the shoes of an employer. So how do you get around that? One of the ways to get around that is to go to a middle market or a smaller firm in a large market. So why do you do that? So middle markets, and the idea would be is instead of working in New York City or Chicago, you work in a smaller market, which might be Memphis or something. I don't know. But when you get into middle markets, what happens is most of the firms are not specialized in practice areas. So the idea would be the corporate attorney would do corporate might do, I'm just sorry here, M&A, securities, general, corporate, and VC work. And why VC, et cetera. So why would that happen in the middle market? It might happen because there's just not enough work and not enough demand for specialists to keep specialists busy. So then you could go into a firm like this and work on securities. Then you could also, if you did enough work, you could get a reputation for being the securities expert in Memphis or whatever city this is. And then you could use that reputation to move back to a larger market, or you could just try to focus all your practice on that and get as much securities work as you could, and then figure out how to do a lot of securities work and get as much securities work as you possibly can in Memphis or whatever this. And then you could become a well-known securities. When people need securities work, they think of you. Just like if somebody needs bond work at a mid-sized city in Michigan, they'll think of this one person. So you have to develop a specialty like that. Now you can also do this with smaller firms. You can try to do that in a smaller law firm. Or you could find a branch office of a firm that sometimes may not have a lot of work in a major market. But that's how you do it. You try to go to smaller markets many times And if you go to smaller markets, you can generally try to do things.